None of this had to happen. Fred, UDT-22 Class 33E, SEAL Team 2, a 100% disabled combat wounded Vietnam veteran, and my father, loaned selected items from his personal collection to the National Navy UDT-SEAL Museum in 1985 to support their opening. He entered into a verbal agreement with Captain Norm Olson, the founding director of the museum, who assured him he could have his items back whenever he asked. Mr. Miller had no issue helping a fellow SEAL and friend. Over the last 30 years, the museum has chosen to ignore Mr. Miller, perhaps hoping he would just go away. Despite multiple in-person conversations with board members and staff about retrieving his loaned property, only once did someone reach out to him. When Mr. Miller responded with the requested information, again, no further communication took place. There is no justification for 30 years of silence from the museum. In 2020, Mr. Miller, at the direction of the museum, was forced to file a lawsuit to retrieve his loaned property. As the case is ongoing, we can't share all the details, but for those who feel intimately connected to the museum, ask them about making it cost prohibitive for my dad to have his loaned property returned. Additionally, if you want to know what questions to ask, or if you are thinking about loaning or even donating your property to any organization, you need to read this book, A Legal Primer on Managing Museum Collections by Marie Malero and Idilco DeAngelis. Mr. Miller crated and shipped selected items from his personal gun and knife collection by March 1985. He was committed to the museum's success, and in 1986, the then president of the museum, Mr. Ward, acknowledged the significance of my dad's contributions, stating, "Without the loan of your personal collection, the museum would be virtually devoid of weapons." For nearly 30 years, the museum has ignored Mr. Miller. If there was any issue with his loan, had they simply reached out to him and said, "Hey Fred, can we talk about this?" Mr. Miller would have been reasonable in his response. This is why Mr. Miller deserves your signature on his Change.org petition, Fight for Fred. Because without your help, the museum will continue to wait him out, run up the legal fees, and generally cause further detriment to both parties. Remember, this did not have to happen, but a lack of communication on the part of the museum allowed what could have been a smaller problem to fester. The museum should have known all along that Mr. Miller would never quit.